Welcome to Foam to Fortune, the ultimate podcast for spray foam insulation industry. Whether you're a contractor aiming to take your business to the next level or a vendor bringing innovation to the market, this is the place where success stories are shared, insider tips are uncovered, and the industry secrets are revealed. Join us as we dive into the journeys of the spray foam pros who turn their dreams into thriving empires and discover tools and strategies to build your own path to fortune. Ready to elevate your spray foam game? Let's get started. Foam to Fortune, where innovation meets inspiration. What's up, guys? I'm Spencer, the host of the Foam to Fortune podcast, and we are live in studio here with Brian Self from Washington Spray Foam. What's up, Brian? Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. For those that are tuning in, share a little bit about Brian and your journey.
Well, that's a good one. My journey. My name's Brian Self. I was born and raised Cedarville, Washington. I'm a third-generation bricklayer turned spray foamer. I came from a position of I gotta change something. Seen a couple definitive moments in my life, two in particular, and here I am.
Yeah, what were those moments, man?
Oh man, one was working in the trade in Montana, kind of a depressed area.
Yeah.
Seen this guy on a hill, green grass, 2 Duramax diesels, a wakeboard boat. Wife wore $500 jeans. It's like, what does this guy do? You go, oh, he does spray foam. Started doing some research, and it's the last part of basically in the country to catch on to for spray foam, and just more and more I researched, and me being into boats, and we lived in Alaska for a little bit, and I'm partial to marine, and started looking into that area too, and kicking around the idea of doing a union masonry job. And what really did it for me was coming back from a bar, tuned up, about 2 a.m, wind chill factor. And a friend of mine has a metal shop, fully cocooned, 2 inches of foam. Wind was howling. Get there, he had a fire going. He works on cars. Get inside, and you ever get that feeling where you're on a summer day and there is absolutely no wind? It's dead. It's like eerie dead. You notice it. That's how it was inside that building. And it was almost t-shirt weather. And at that moment, I knew the power of spray foam, and I knew that was the future.
Wow.
So that's when I started pushing piece by piece.
Yeah, and so what did that look like? I know you shared pre-show. It was you late nights looking on YouTube at the rigs.
Oh, yeah. I'm a YouTube, what do they call YouTube scholar?
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I had a good job. I hustled on the side. I had a gig going in Mexico where we worked, and just started piecing a rig together. Knew what I wanted to do, bought a custom trailer, looked on YouTube, seen what people had, had the idea. Got a couple 6 inches taller, seen people duck it in there. Bought a generator, then bought a rotary vane, and just started piecing it together.
Wow.
Slowly transitioned, got that rig up and running, doing jobs for family and friends, and slowly getting my foot in the door while still doing a union job, until it got to the point where, oh, you keep saying that. Well, pretty soon I just threw them up in the air and pieced out, and here I am. I can't go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
That was what, like 5 years ago?
Over 5 years now, fully in business.
Yeah.
Moonlighting for a couple, in and out, dipping my toes, but still focused, on the end game.
Yeah. What is the end game?
That's a great question. The end game is to, I don't want to. In business, everybody wants to push and strive and be successful, grow your business. There's plans laid out to, do this and that. And there's the other part of me that's, I really love my family too, but as far as the plan as I'm pushing forward, I got a young boy, he's 13, he's going to be 18 in 5 years. I might have the little talk, same thing I have. Do you want to work at McDonald's? You want to make $18 an hour? That's what they told me. So
yeah,
maybe he'll want to take the keys to the empire, and crawl in boat holds and spray some poly.
Heck yeah. So this is really about that next generation. You building a business to either
it could be
sell or to pass on to Howie.
Yeah, and I got a daughter too that's pretty smart. She could possibly, I don't know if I'd want her. She's too precious to get on the gun, but
yeah,
there's administrative duties that could be done.
Of course.
Hiring and firing, you know.
Need a great person to start answering the phones for you and then transition into being a boss lady.
That's right.
That's great, man. That's great. At what moment was it when you figured out this wasn't just a side gig?
That's a good one. Like I said, I had a job and I had a plan to start a spray foam company. There was a point where I transitioned to and I knew I couldn't come back. I guess it was still all new. But when I knew I couldn't go back, that's when it set in. You know what I mean? There's like, man, I can't go back. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. So
couldn't go back due to the financial success?
Well, I couldn't go back to
investment.
Masonry, doing what I did before, working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
For what I used to did. It's like I got a crash course in business, at 40 years old,
Yeah, as well as the financial commitment of starting a spray foam company.
Goodness, it's never ending too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like this and that, anything with a G on it, Graco, they're proud of their stuff, but they should be. It's great products, by the way.
Yeah, speaking of Graco, sounds to me like you're one of the top Graco guys out there. They've you got to try out some things and make some changes on some equipment.
Let's call it fortunate.
Okay.
Fortunate to have a great team behind me as far as like the sales rep, service partners. We got Josh Watkins, AJ. He was part of that team for a long time. He's on to bigger and better things, and about bigger and better, but definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
He's happy. That's important. And just I'm in a unique area in the spray foam field. I'm not a guy going out there just banging out residential after residential. I got some pretty niche markets I'm in.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough to make the contacts with charisma and panache, as we talked about. It's been good. I've demoed some FX guns, and Graco gave me 2 field models to demo.
Okay.
And man, you pick that gun up, it's light. That 1 pound don't seem like a lot, but once it gets moving back and forth, 1 pound, 2 pound, that adds up.
Mm-hmm.
And just the product's been great too.
Yeah.
And rolling through with that, I was on a big project, so that helped me too. So I had a one of a kind, never been done before project in the time, so I was kind of steamrolling in that department. Graco let me borrow their demo Reactor 3 hydraulic unit that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Demoed that. I was one of 5 people in the country. The only person in the world with that machine running the FX gun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess I had a couple, 2 in particular elements that helped on the design change. That's what they said. It was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
simple stuff you wouldn't think, but it's all part of the deal, right?
Yeah, you're also educating, a huge company like Graco. Obviously, this when you're able to give some input and for them to actually make some changes due to what Brian says, that's impressive.
Yeah, it makes a guy feel important and appreciated.
Yeah.
They even put me on the Chicago trade show. They had a cutout of me spraying. They actually made a pretty cool video on the launch of the FX gun. They had a crew come out, and a film crew with lights, and I was mic'd up, and they had aerial footage of this barge.
Yeah. Is that, speaking of barges, is that kind of, you were talking about the marine stuff that you guys have really, kind of found this niche, your love of marine, as well as being located up in the Seattle market, obviously lots of boats. Are barges kind of like your thing now that you're becoming known for, or is there something else? Anything
marine. So there was a guy called Kalman Industries that basically dominated the area in a while. Befriended him. Was possibly going to buy one of his rigs. Didn't work out, and I talked to the guy often. He had his wife's dad. He just passed away. Jim Kalman. Give it up for R.I.P. Jim Kalman, a man in the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Wear your mask, wear your PPE. He's old school. Old school's, working the refineries, guys smoking a cigarette through the tit cup, sandblasting.
Okay.
So yeah, basically he went out. There's a couple others, but I mean, I'm the only Marine guy from Canada to Everett, Seattle, and I'm starting to hang out in Seattle a lot more. And I feel fortunate, not bragging or nothing, but top guy that was at Trident went to a different premier Alaskan Seafoods. He says, "Thank you, Brian. You are the best in the business," and that felt good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trident's huge. And to,
They are.
And to hear them say that about you, it's...
Well, they require ULH marine insurance. I mean, you gotta pay to play. So it's been a long walk. It's good.
Yeah. How long ago did you form that relationship with those guys?
Couple years.
Yeah.
But like anything, it's organic. You start meeting contractors that do fiberglass and big projects and know people. Now I'm working on these boats in Seattle, and I see crews and people that I know, and people talk in the marine world. You really don't have to advertise in the marine. It's like once you get in there, it's hard to get in, but once you get in, people talk, and especially if you're good at what you do, it's it's been really good.
What's the percentage of Washington spray foam that comes from the marine? Would you say of the projects?
Man, it's been hit or miss. I mean, dollar amounts, over half of my last year's net was marine.
Wow.
So, but that was, I had a big job
projects.
there, but it's a guy could get 5 or 6, 7 boats a year, really good, decent ones, and live a meager life,
Yeah. Is that really, the future of your business? Is that where you see you focusing more on, is the marine stuff? If you could get away from commercial and residential spray foam and just focus on marine?
Man, commercials, a lot of commercial now is a lot of apartment buildings.
Yeah.
And I mean, man, that's cut up. They got them freaking sprinklers in there with them orange sprinklers. You can't get a drop, and they're drywall and stuff away. I mean, a guy can make a living doing that. It's good. 6 stories up, or have rigs that are hooking to electrical if you're higher. But, I mean, I still crawl under houses. I like houses. They're nice and quiet. No sun on your back. Sometimes you get a dirt one, but
A little crawl space
but
action?
absolutely marine focused company.
Yeah.
We're also in the aerospace as well too.
Oh, wow.
We
With Boeing up there, I mean...
I'm not sure how Boeing works. I'm pretty sure they have in-house.
Yeah.
I can't confirm that, but why wouldn't they?
Makes sense.
There's a company called Electro Impact. They work for Boeing, and they do an aerospace. We did got another job coming up for them. They just reached out to me and for another specialty sanding tool, asked if I needed. But we did Jeff Bezos's satellite cover for his lunar rover last year. That was pretty cool.
That is cool. That's pretty high.
Pretty high up there. That's top of the list. Maybe we should charge a little more, but they
you bid it before you found out who it was for.
Yeah, I mean, I did okay, but there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
Man, they had this clean area in there, and I don't think they've had anything sanded in their room for a while, but when you sand foam, it makes some dust. They'll probably have me outside next time in a cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to get down to, he was putting a straight edge on this thing. I mean, you could put pieces of paper underneath there. We got some pretty plain, easy equipment. Mm-hmm. We got some pretty highly specified tools, brushing tools to get that like a mirror finish, Like you get in a fish hole, it's like how far down the rabbit hole do you want to get,
Yeah, for sure.
You can always respray and get it keep more dialed in. There's a time you got to throw in the flag and say that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gonna get covered up,
Yeah.
or it's foam. Not everything can be butter.
Right.
It's gonna do its purpose. It's gonna insulate or keep the space cool, soundproof.
Perfect is good enough in the marine world.
Yeah. And how much of the marine foam? Because I'm not familiar with marine projects. Is majority of it exposed? Hey, foam fam, real talk. You're up early in attics, busting your butt all day. Is your Google business profile sleeping? If your name isn't showing up when people are searching spray foam near me, then you're losing out on jobs to Chuck and his rusty van. We over here at Spray Foam Genius Marketing will fix that for you. From SEO to Google business profiles to websites, yeah, we do all that nerdy stuff. This way, you stay booked solid. If you want more leads without getting the bad ones, hit us up at sprayfoamgeniusmarketing.com and let's turn your foam into fortune.
It can be, like fish lockers or freezers, it can be exposed, but then you have the potential for, I've recently did some deep freeze lockers, meat lockers. We just recently did a cold storage facility. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they all work fine, but then once you have to do some repairs and you turn it off and you got to do some repairs, that waterlogged foam can tend to, and the roof came in, and that's what happens in a couple of them. But yeah, typically you want to cover the foam up because, for instance, like residential, you got to, in an attic, if you're going to store something there for code, you got to put an intimate code,
Gotcha. Yeah. Wow. I'm pretty sure this is the first conversation that we've had on Foam to Fortune talking about marine and fish lockers and things like that. Those are projects that I haven't heard anybody spraying. Obviously, you're in a very unique area. Lots of fishing going on up in the Seattle, Puget Sound area. Probably one of the largest fishing areas, I would say, in the United States, if not the largest.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. You got the whole Lake Washington area, Ballard. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of boats. A lot of boats. Some
major boats, crabbing, fishing, all of it.
Oh, yeah. Last one we were on was a crabber, and we just did a little touch-up on the floor. They tore out in a bait locker. We sprayed some 2-pound foam in, just hog out that big area, and then put over in some 3-pound, sprayed some 3-pound down for impact resistance on the floor. Sanded a couple spots I didn't like, and then did a quick respray to accept a good coat of poly on. Mm-hmm. But with the one we were on there before, it was in a freezer, and there was a lot of foam exposed. And like I said, it's not ideal to have the foam exposed. You can make it work. We did a whole section, sprayed out 8 inches of 2-pound. Got it as best we could, then we shot it with a BASF hybrid poly, natural color.
Natural.
It was like an off cream. But, the idea is to cover it up.
Yeah. Any deadliest catch boats?
No, I've not done no deadliest catch boats. Gonna go work on the what is that vessel? I got to be there tomorrow. It's a crabber.
Okay.
A native fishing boat, but they showed me pictures of that thing just filled with crab.
Wow, you doing some trade? You like to eat crab?
Oh yeah, I got a 24-foot Trophy Pro sitting on the water right now. I can have my fill of crab Thursday through Monday. So
okay. Never mind. He's not going to be doing trade.
I would like to eat some. I would like to eat some fresh Alaskan king crab. Be in Alaska.
Yeah.
So absolutely going to do some trade if I get up there. But there's already guys dominating that market. I've gotten asked a lot to, can you make it to Alaska? Can you make it to Alaska? It's like, man, I got kids right now. You got to do this and that.
Let's talk in another, 8 years.
Now, if I could charge Alaska prices for fish holds and do them here, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll do that all day long.
Maybe that day will come.
Logistics, though, you got to ship foam. You got to, so I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I like, like I said, part of me wants to grow. The idea is to grow a successful business. Office management. I guess that's what a guy would want to do.
Well, I don't know.
All the procedures in order. You got your office. You got your bidder, and man, I've been in the field spraying. I stepped away a little bit last year when I had a crew, and we had some financial issues through a large project we didn't do, or we did do, but they failed to come up with some cash. The times were tough, so I had to make some decisions. And then policy changes in the administration. Some people got sent away to other countries, so I'm in the field now, just me and a laborer right now. And I like it. It's great,
Gotcha. So you're
for now,
you're back to spraying.
Back to spraying every day.
I know you mentioned this when you grow a successful company. What's success look like to you?
Success looks like for me from turning off my phone 3 months out of the year, and that's the plan in 9 years. I want to be able to turn my phone off for 3 months, fly south.
Company runs itself.
Yeah.
What do we got to do to get you there?
I don't know. There's a certain boy in my life. He needs to grow up.
It's about Howie. That's he informed me pre-show. He's like 34 days before turning 14. Not that he's counting, you guys. 33 days before he turns 14.
Yep.
And he needs to grow up in order for you to be stepping away.
Yeah, but I've been in talks with up and coming fiberglass company in Bellingham, and there's talks of possibly merging. Maybe have their division and my division. I don't know. There's pretty smart, savvy guy. He does a lot of my subcontracting for fiberglass, because I get fiberglass calls. I try not to mess with that stuff.
Like, do you notice it's Washington spray foam?
There was a tech from IDI in training. He goes, I don't like that name. Because it didn't say nothing about fiberglass or anything. Like Washington insulation or something like that. But look at me now, Mom. Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud to be a hyper-focused spray foam only company.
Of course, and why wouldn't you want to be?
I get it. I'm possibly leaving some stuff on the table by not running fiberglass, but fiberglass to me, and what I've found is it's a numbers game too. It's a volume.
Yeah.
So what am I going to? I don't want to build out a fiberglass warehouse. Find a crew to do that. I'd rather build. It's worked great because I can sub this out to other companies that do not have a spray foam, and guess what? They get kind of they're like, hey, we can start doing spray foam, so they're throwing me jobs, keeping me busy. So it's
scratching their back, they're scratching yours.
Yeah,
and you're not having to make another investment in a blow rig or get guys that do bats.
I mean, the investment in a company, you're always taking hits. You're always invested in your company, but this investments always pay out. So it's not necessarily that. It's the commitment to take on another wife,
Well, yeah, and it's now you're split. I've noticed with my businesses in the past that when you get too many balls you're juggling in the air, your main focus kind of goes away. Where when you're niched down specifically just to spray foam and you stay in your lane, I think you're able to grow a lot quicker. You're going to be a lot more successful than we got this insulation, this blow-in job, we got this bat job. Oh, there's a spray foam. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of stuff going on. You're very hyper focused. It sounds like with just sticking the spray foam.
Start running gunners out the back too, like a lot of places.
Yeah,
hanging garage doors. No, but I got a few things to accomplish and take over and tighten up, and then I'm going to get another sprayer. It's I ran a crew in a big job for over a year, and it was kind of a pain in the ass, but I guess so is business and running employees. But not having that now and being back in the field, I'm a worker. It's good, and I don't mind it, but it takes a lot. So but I have a goal with me being back in. Refocus, rehone, realign, rebuild, refit. Tighten up some loose ends, and then start expanding again.
Get the processes in place for growth. Now
I got 2 rigs. I got a brand new box truck, 2024. With Graco's brand new Reactor 3 electric package in there with all the internally heated hoses. So I alternate between both of them.
Yeah. So you have 2 trailer type rigs and then 1 box rig?
I have a Dodge with a tow behind trailer, 22 foot, and I'd like to have that my marine trailer, but I'm almost thinking of, just getting box trucks or having one bigger, because that trailer's nice. Because I've put 8 sets of foam on there. Don't tell the DOT.
Don't tell. Yeah, they'll be like, that's over your weight capacity.
But it's nice to have that box truck down on the Ballard and in the docks in Seattle. 24 feet, going on the ferries, stuff like that. So it's good versatility. Say that. And then if
plus a billboard driving down the freeway.
Exactly. I get a big job too. I could shoot from the hip and hire somebody out real quick to run a rig for say 2 or 3 months, or just get a crash course and just take on another employee right quick just to bang out a big job or something.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like success, not only is that creating the life for you to be away for 3 months out of the year, hanging out in Belize, correct?
Yeah.
And getting a crew together that can run the business with you just really stepping away, and not losing any momentum.
Specifically for 3 months out of the year.
Yeah.
To start, and we'll see what that looks like,
Yeah.
Maybe I could be known for, maybe people know that this guy's checked out for 3 months of the year and check back when you start seeing smoke signals again, or but success is, there's a, I don't know if we're supposed to talk about the man upstairs, but that's
Sure.
My ultimate success right there, is honoring the Holy Spirit, but I want to be with my family, man. Yeah. So success, it's not necessarily about the money, like in business, it's using money as a tool to just get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This Kalman guy that passed away, he was in the trenches till, he was 71 spraying, you know what I mean? Wow. And now some people don't know no better and they love it, right? Like a lot of people, they'll go to work and work and work, and guess what happens when they retire, you know what I mean? They don't do so good, they just stay moving.
The mental health and everything.
Yeah, but ultimately, success, if I had to define it, would be building my relationship in Marine and my portfolio in Marine, which is happening. Mm-hmm. I've been on every single week. I've been in a boat job, and that's for about a month now. That's good. Maybe it's just a change of the weather or the breeze, but it's always, it seems like it's getting more and more and more to where I could say,
that's where you're building your brand.
Yeah, and it's not a bad brand to build, because hope there's no boat captains going to listen to this, but they have their checkbook open, writing checks. I'm just the spray foam guy. I'm a crucial part.
But you're also, on the flip side of things, let's call it what it is. You're helping these guys, number one, keep their product cooler, keep their boat warmer. Whatever they're trying to do, the cold or the hot. They're going out in frigid conditions, fishing. Like you're helping them.
Yeah. Anytime you're spraying elastometric coatings, there's a premium for that, because there's not a lot of guys do it. You have to have the specialty equipment, knowledge, and talk about insurance. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Marine, I got general's contractors liability. I got a balloon bond on top of that for doing larger jobs. Each rig's insured, the trailer's insured, a marine policy, and then I have a longshoreman's policy too.
Wow.
Yeah. I got life insurance too.
Your insurance agent loves you.
Yeah, she does. She's good. And we're in, would you say, in bed together?
Yeah.
In a
non-romantic way.
Yeah.
Let's clarify that for people.
I can call her on her personal phone.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good. It's allowed me to, this vision of where I want to be and build my business has opened up a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of places in the world that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people don't get to see them because of time and money.
Yeah.
And I've been, since I've started this business, I've been able to help a lot of people. I've been able to set slave families free, helping people in Africa, sponsor local race teams. I've given a lot to the race teams, to help fuel their dreams. And most of them, all of them have families.
Yeah.
And it helps. And what else? Doing to the community too. Acts of service is my love language here on Foam Pros. Foam to Fortune.
Foam to Fortune.
Yeah. And so I've helped a lot of people today. Yeah, I helped our local pastor today. Sprayed some foam for him and made $200.
Whew.
Yeah.
That probably just paid for your gas down from Seattle.
But, he's going to take that building and he's going to use it to house families and stuff in. So it makes it feel good.
Of course. You're obviously, I know within the spray foam community, there's a lot of charity projects, folks helping each other out. Mm-hmm. I know they just wrapped up one in Wisconsin with Eric Gladson, and a whole bunch of guys flew out there to help a veteran. Whenever there is a need, I can tell you there's spray foam folks show up.
Smart folks build brick. Smart folks insulate with spray foam.
Yep, exactly. So to kind of circle back, success for you, obviously the zeros in the bank account help buy this freedom to where you can make an impact with doing more charity work for, the church, helping families in Africa, giving your kids some, trips to show them the world, this beautiful place that we live in. That's what success looks like to you.
Yes. Yeah.
I agree.
When I'm sitting here coughing on my deathbed from A-side inhalation, I'm not going to be thinking, man, I should have worked more. Man, I should have sprayed that boat.
Yeah.
But I mean, it takes money to be cool. You got to live. You got to be a part of society. Mm-hmm. You don't need these things. You can live in a cabin off grid, but
that sounds amazing as well.
Those people tend to smell.
Well, I mean, you can also shower.
There's a give and take, right? You shower in the creek, but
yeah,
it's good. It's good to have nice things. You can't have the nice of everything, but spray foam's been great. It's hard work. It's a highly specialized trade. Mm-hmm. There's so many moving parts, and a guy needs to enjoy that. Yeah. Work hard, play hard, vacation hard too. But focus on the businesses. You got to, because stuff's going to start adding up, needing maintenance. I know how that goes. You're out of drill bits. That'll shut a job down right there.
Oh, man, the lack of drill bits, right? And pre-show, you're talking about Graco's drill bits and little...
Yeah, I know where they source them things from, too. It's like they need to go in-house and work on that metallurgy. Tone down that...
Titanium?
Tension of steel, They don't. I mean, maybe they need to be Titanic grade to where it's brittle and they snap, but I haven't broken a drill bit off in a chamber in a long time, so...
That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe he has some tricks. I know that is a thing with a lot of spray foamers breaking them off in there.
I don't use Dynazolve anymore.
Okay.
I just use foam release.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Because I've been told that the Dynazolve can affect the steel and make it more brittle. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I have some data points saying it could be.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, you get enough reps, you'll come back with enough data.
Yeah, data points, data clusters.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, if you had to start over with just your brain and a rig, like how would you get customers these days? Like knowing what you know now, because previously, if we rewind time, man, when you first started this thing, you had no clue. You were like, YouTubing it and figuring this all out on your own.
If I had to start over and I was wanting to hit the ground running and really have a game plan and a portfolio and a sheet of, okay, here's my business. What direction am I going? Because, I kind of freestyle things. I got a great team. I don't do no paperwork. I do my invoices, but I would start off, build a great website.
Okay.
So then you're getting Joe Smo off the street, Google spray foam, finds you. You're going to start getting clientele that way.
Yeah.
You're also going to get clientele if you're good at what you do. For every job you do, you should get one more in the next 10 years. That's just a general rule of thumb. I've known that
at
since.
Least.
Yeah.
One in every 10 years?
Yeah.
I mean,
Anybody with half a brain and an anal knows that, right?
I mean, that's the odds of that is pretty good if you do a decent job.
But I think it has a lot to do with the person, being presentable, who you are in sales. I can tell you, if you have more people on here and they work for larger companies, and they get big and inflated and they get a sales guy out there, man, I've killed it going over these sales guys that walk out there and they're maybe getting pushed by this company to say, hey, you got to sell this or that. They come out there and, they kind of know what they're talking. I go out there and just kill it.
Because of the experience.
Yeah, ideally, I would like to be in sales, because I could sell Eskimo ice cubes. I really can.
Yeah.
Just
that is if you had the experience of making the ice cube. Because I think that's what you're talking about. You're talking about because you're a sprayer, you know how to sell the job versus a guy like myself that's never sprayed, that's out there trying to sell spray foam. I can't speak the language. I don't have as much knowledge.
Maybe it comes down to my personality too. Some things I say to the clients, they might be like, who's this guy? Oh, he's easy. Well, he kind of knows what he's talking about, so we'll go with that.
Yeah. So good website.
Good sales.
Yep.
And, don't roll up in a 89 Cavalier,
Look a little professional.
Look the part, act the part, have a tape measure on you, talk presentable, shave your mustache, brush your teeth.
Put your mustache on your finger?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, it's a guitar. Is it a guitar?
No, it's a rose.
Okay. I thought he had the mustache tattoo on his finger. He mustached you a question?
My ex-wife had that, and it was a Charlie Chaplin, not the other.
Oh, okay. Not the other. Oh, gosh. I'm glad it wasn't the other.
Yeah. And then as far as after that, once you get going a little bit, I would say, I do a lot of, I'm on tables on restaurants, Billy's Cafe. I got grocery carts in my local store, two of them, placemats, racing.
Racing's good.
I sponsored 5. I got in trouble last year. Kind of blew my race budget. I didn't really have a race budget. Maybe I should have one.
Your accountant.
You have X. Once you go past X, you're done.
Your accountant's like, dude, why are you keep writing checks to the race companies?
I don't know what she thinks. It goes fast.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot going in, a lot going out.
Yeah.
Get it while it's getting there because I don't know what's going to happen yesterday.
The race teams love you.
Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. I get a lot out of it. I really do.
Does it give you a positive ROI with the race teams? It's hard to track, I'm guessing.
So part of the website, billboards, mats, the
grocery store cards.
I believe it's named with association.
Okay.
Like how you talked about that guy. He said 16 years he was scraping floors. Now look at him. Well, I assume that his business was around for 16 years. When you kick a name around and you do pretty decent work for 16 years, you're going to have somewhat of a control of the market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As far as how
brand recognition,
yeah.
But difficult to say that job came because I sponsored the race car, or that person called me up because they saw the grocery store shopping cart. You ever look at a job that somebody else landed and think, they hired him? Are you serious? That's what happens when your Google profile doesn't show up. Or even worse, it shows up but has no photos, no reviews, and has an outdated phone number from 2009. Spray Foam Genius Marketing fixes that. We get your business found by people who are ready to buy. Don't lose another job to somebody that is half as good as you. Hit us up here at sprayfoamgeniusmarketing.com and we'll help you get to the top. We had a guy call us last month and said he hadn't had a lead in over 3 months. Turns out his Google business profile was unclaimed, had 0 photos, and he didn't even know what SEO was. Fast forward, we fixed it, we optimized it, and he booked 6 jobs in just 2 weeks. And guess what? He called it free money. Spray Foam Genius Marketing turns online crickets into booked jobs. So go check us out at sprayfoamgeniusmarketing.com and get out of the no lead zone.
I'm getting calls now to where I heard from so-and-so, and you get a call every once in a while, they just ask for spray foam, and you kind of get a feel of the market and, where'd that come. I don't ask everyone, where did you hear about me? Mm-hmm. But, there can be lulls. I hit a lull this last year. I believe it was an election year, uncertainty in the markets, but it was a small trickle. But it was, after a while, it was kind of, okay, here's, it's starting to trickle in. Now my phone's ringing a lot.
Yeah.
Calling people back and scheduling and doing this. Now it's getting to the point where it's like, man, that 1 year before I hired a crew, it was 4 months, 7 days a week, 12s and 13s. I mean, I don't want to do that. No way. I try not to do Saturdays and Sundays. If I do, it's appointments.
Yeah.
Couple.
Well, Saturday and Sundays are for the kids, at least. I mean,
right.
They're growing up quick. You have, young kids we talked about in the next, probably 6 to 7 years. They're going to be of the age where they don't have to be with dad. Mm-mm. And, the one thing that I always, as being a business owner for the last, 15 years, I always sit there and try to weigh, can I make more money, or can I have this experience with my kids? And majority of the time I can make more money at another time, and I can never get that experience back with the kids.
I can tell you this, you're going to pay a price with relationships with children, starting a business, but it's also good too. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I don't say it stresses me out. I deal with stress pretty well. Certain things, women relationship stuff gets me, but business stuff, I'm pretty smooth like that. I get busy and stuff, and obviously, if I had a 9 to 5 and I could just check out, mm-hmm. you get off at 3:00 and you're done. Yeah. Your mind doesn't have to do nothing until you just clock in and do your job, right? So being a business owner does affect relationships a little bit, but it also opens doors to a lot of others too. I tell my kids, about investing in their future, and if I wish I known what I know now, shit, I'd be laughing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, not only that, as well as I totally understand what you're saying. Like the kids, the foundation, you're doing this for the kids, but along the way, they always say kids learn from watching than being told what to do. So they're watching dad work hard. They're also getting to reap some of the rewards of dad working hard, because they're getting to have these experiences and travel and see the things that the money buys mm-hmm. from the hard work. Versus, I don't know how you grew up, but I grew up in a poor family where I never got to experience any of this stuff. I never got to experience the trips or the vacations, my experience was, gosh, are we going to have food on the table?
You had one toy, it was called outside.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, hey, go on, get out of here. Go ride your bike.
I've been there, yeah. I had a good childhood, but I had a dad that bought me stuff. That was cool. Okay. And I also had a dad that taught me how to yell at me in the masonry trade. Are you back yet? The sky is blue till 3:30, then whatever color you want it to be. That's all I did was run. So, what do they say? Hard times create strong men create good times times create weak men create bad times, So, what's the statistic? A generational wealth is gone within 3 years. By the second generation, it's like 70%. By the third, it's like 90-something.
That's crazy.
So I'd like to build something that can live on. Maybe a bronze statue of me spraying.
A bronze statue, you guys. Make sure the kids know that Brian wants a bronze statue when he's no longer here.
He made spray foam great.
Yeah, right.
For eternity.
Where would this statue be at?
Oh man, I shouldn't say that.
Okay. Outside of his house. Right?
Yeah, right.
Of the mansion, and it's like in the drive, the turnaround. There's a Brian with a spray foam gun.
Yep. Burn me, put me in a set of foam, and spray me in a boat hold. That'll work.
Man, that's interesting. You know, they take the ashes, the cremation, put you into some foam and spray
they can make
you.
diamonds now. You know that, right?
Yeah, I've seen this. This is kind of a crazy thing. I don't know. A little bit of that kind of creeps me out a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, same.
A little bit. I think it's cool, but a little bit is creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do that. I don't know if I should let my wife know when I pass on that I want to be a diamond. Or
I'd like to instill good work ethic in my kids, you know, and I just trying to hand them stuff, you know.
Yeah. And the way that you do that, obviously, that takes a lot of them seeing dad work hard. And so, yeah, it is a catch-22.
Yep.
Most definitely.
You know, business is hard. Being kind of poor and working some dead-end job is hard, too. You know, choose your heart.
True. You know, and I think I'd much rather not work that dead-end job and choose that hard.
Yeah.
I know we covered this slightly, but what's the future look like for Washington Spray Foam? Like over the course of the next 5 to 7 years, where do you see things? I mean, obviously it's the freedom for you to be traveling, spending 3 months out of the year in Belize. You know, kiddos, seeing dad successful, this business that's kind of running on its own, we'll just say, to where you're a real business owner, not working in the business, but on the business on a regular basis and not spraying. Obviously, we know the life of a spray foamer's body is not super long. Our body starts to break down, the shoulders, the elbows. I mean, unless you're using the 1 pound gun from Graco, right?
Oh yeah, that gun. I like it. It's a good gun.
Yeah. So what's the future look like for you guys?
Mainly me being back in the field, building out of an infrastructure. You know, acquiring better facilities to store daily logisticals. Whether that's building a driveway, pouring concrete, to building out Connex units, or, you know, Washington Spray Foam acquired some commercial property.
I like that.
Yes, but man, Washington State, you know, they're proud of permitting and stuff. So, yeah, the future would be a commercial front. Mm-hmm. And we've already got this first step, acquisition of the property, working toward that goal to make something happen.
Yeah.
Maintenance, maybe a new rig to the fleet. I kicked around the idea of getting a slab jacking rig, because that's another little niche market, you know. Slab
jacking as well as the seawall stuff,
or you know, maybe just focusing on slab jacking and marine. You know, giving up the scraps for all them other beat the pavement spray foam companies. You know, it's fighting over residential crawl spaces. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great.
No, but let them go out there and fight on that stuff.
You know, roll up to a house and say, "Oh, it's $7,000 for that house." You know, the next guy rolls up, "Oh, it's $6,500." You know, "Oh, it's $7,200."
Yeah.
You know, they're all right there. You know, versus slabjack machine rolls up there. "Oh, it's $3,000 for all this big old driveway," and they think, "Wow, that's pretty decent." You know, little they know you're putting 8 gallons of foam in there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the guy's there all day, so what are you paying? You're paying labor and. You give a guy a rig and spraying foam in a house. I mean, he's going to burn through a couple $1,000s worth of product, you know, versus just.
Yep.
So there's more of a niche market there. Maybe slabjacking and just marine and aerospace. A crew. Yes, I'd like to have. You know, you talk to these big companies that have 10 rigs, and you know, I've had accounts of people that really didn't make much more money after 4 rigs. Once they hit the 4 rig mark, you know, you get big and you get inflated, and a lot of moving parts in one rig.
Yeah.
Times
4.
You know, plus you got, you know,
the people.
You know, the world's greatest sprayer in each one. You know,
yeah.
I'm one of them. To me, I'll tell you, the best in the.
Yeah, don't let anybody tell you any different.
Yeah. 2 to 3 rigs at most. Never more than that.
Yeah.
I got 2 now. I got 3 machines. We'll see what happens.
I love it.
Mental too. You know what I mean? A guy could, you know, you got to be comfortable where you're at too, you know. I seen one thing I seen in people in business. You ever see like a businessman walking around? He's like, you try to talk to him, he's kind of like looking at his phone. He's just. I never wanted to be that guy. I'm kind of like that guy. Now he's like
frazzled.
I mean, you don't have no days off. You're thinking, bank account, this and that, phone. At some point, finding somebody or somehow maybe merging or the next generation taking more of a lead role.
Yeah.
And laying all the groundwork with the rigs, the facilities and relationships and a phone and scheduling and marine, everything, So I think it's an evolution of business. I think where I'm at now, I could never imagine that.
It's the work-life balance, which sounds funny to say because I think that is, a lot easier said than done.
I've been pushing hard and I've been doing a good job. No work on Saturday and Sunday. And if I'm busy, I'll do appointments. Even then, it's kind of, you have one appointment on Saturday, you can kind of squeeze that in,
Yeah.
Pull your tape out and point around and shoot a number at a guy and then go off and do your bay. That's okay.
Yeah.
But nothing more than that.
Love it. Good vision. And I hope that you're able to get there in the next 5 to 7.
Oh, I think it's easily attainable. It's just how much do you want it? It's all in what you want.
Yeah. And your motivation.
Oh, 100%.
When you have young kids, man, I don't know about you, but my kiddos motivate the heck out of me. And but it is that balance, right? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice to get there? Sometimes you're sacrificing the time and the things the reason why we do it, yet.
Man, I sacrificed 4 years. I mean, I had a good union job, a side hustle, and like I said, Mexico. And I mean, I was just, a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
Doing well and just broke, focus. And I found myself after 4 years being in business and I had a crew and I was kind of took a step back and I felt like growth was stifled, and I was okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just, push the cart a little bit here. It's downhill. Let's just not push it downhill. Let's just kind of let it roll, let it take us with it. Now I'm feeling myself kind of at the next chapter,
Yeah. Well, and business, at least for myself, is constantly, plateauing, going up, plateau, go, it's never this even trajectory like a lot of people think, it's like climbing the hill. It's never like that. It seems more like a set of stairs for me.
Yeah. Stair climber.
Yeah, exactly.
How hard are you pushing that button?
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's chat about, like, do you remember like a project that absolutely kicked your ass, that you just learned a ton from?
Well, besides E24 codes underside of a crawl space where you're army crawling out and because your material's too cold and it, I mean, geez, how many times I've been in a crawl space? Just every single thing in this trade that is a problem, I've done it. And it's almost to the point where it just pulls your hair out. Now I think with every spray foamer, spray foam is just work. It's all in how that comes out the end of the gun. We all have our days. What was the question? What was the question again?
The project that absolutely kicked your ass.
I was thinking about that time in particular. You know what I mean?
With the new Graco machine that you have, can't you just run that from the app now? You don't have to actually go back to the rig?
You can, and that's another thing that's made it great by Graco.
We're not sponsored by Graco. We're just dropping lots of Graco, facts here.
I mean, the biggest project we have was a good example. Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face.
Yep.
It was a good project. I mean, I was stone cold the whole time. I mean, there's no reason to get excited. I was the only contractor head of the game, I was told. Had a positive attitude the whole time, and just the new guy on the block, landing a big project like that. Failure was not an option. It just wasn't in the cards, and it was not going to happen. So with that being said, the mental focus and strain that takes, people don't understand that. A lot of people can't do that. I've been told I have ADHD, and that's a superpower.
Of course.
Yeah, but you see a squirrel or something, it's hard to.
Yeah, something shiny.
When you're on a project like that, and It's absolute chaos. I mean, I've been on a construction site since I was 15 years old, and I have never seen anything like that. It was pretty smooth. I mean, you got to say it was pretty smooth, but 23 lifts, 150 guys, and a 100 by 300 just cords everywhere, and you're just spraying foam. And oh, shit, sorry, you know.
What was this project?
It was the Hannah project. It was a Northline Seafoods project.
Okay.
Built in the Port of Bellingham. They sourced everybody local. I bid against one other person. There was 3 reasons why I got the job. One was the price. It was a tiny, tiny bit underneath the next guy. Nothing negotiable, but that's right there. My knowledge. They've actually changed some of the designs in that ship based on my knowledge of spray foam and mechanicals. And I forget the third. I was asked that a while ago. Basically just how I presented and it was local.
Yeah.
The other guy had certain timelines and stuff. But what really, I mean, on that job in particular, I remember I worked 64 days straight. I'll never do that again. I'll never put myself in a situation to do that. I'll hire another guy.
Yeah.
And take a cut from that, just to, even if he's sitting there sweeping, you know, just or something.
Yeah.
To take a load off or the gun off, you know, sometimes. But there was times I had to step back and, you know, think of the big plan. But we executed. Execution was perfect. Perfect execution.
How many sets?
110 or something like that. 10. A lot of it was poly too.
Wow.
14,000 square foot of fish holds. It was good, and what really was the time where I was kind of like, you know, this is serious. Is the big wigs came in, you know, and they said, even though you're a small crew, you play a very important role in the execution of this build. You know, the fish holds. I mean, they can't fish without them. You know, I had a plan and a schedule, and that was out the door. You know, we had to get foam in there, so we were spraying out foam in between these stringers. You know, then everyone would walk in there just trashing the foam and stuff. And this had to happen. You know, had to happen. But then we had free reign, and so I went back through and had one guy in there that wasn't spec for planing. I had a guy in there for 6 weeks planing all the foam, you know, because you can't spray. I don't care how good you are. You can't spray foam in between stringers.
Yeah.
The foam reacts different to metal and foam. You foam on top of foam, it rises, the metal. So you had to sand it. Otherwise, it looked like a World War II utility trail for logistics. Topped it with 3-pound after that, had a nice clean finish, and you know, it was kind of stagnant. I remember one of the big wigs coming there, and Northline's really anxious to see blue in the tanks. You know, when you have deep pockets like that, saying, "Hey,
gotta get some fish."
Yeah, when are we going to see some blue in them tanks? Yeah, that was good. 64 days straight.
Whew.
I mean, I've done 20, 30. You know what I mean? But never.
64 days, 110 sets. What's that? 12, 14-hour days at least?
8s. We did 8s.
Oh, 8s?
We did 8s. Yeah, but it was 3-4 months.
Yeah.
I had 9 to 5 crew. You know what I mean? I had to push them to work on the weekends.
Yeah.
Not everybody's built like a superhero. You know what I mean?
No, not everybody's a Brian.
They don't make them like they used to, you know?
Classics.
Yeah, I'm young, but I'm from the old school, you know?
Yeah, you got that
work
that
hard,
mentality.
save your money. Work hard, save your money. You know? I'm telling my kids, work hard, invest your money.
Yeah. That sounds like quite a project. But you got through it. How many years ago was that?
It was last year.
Oh, okay. That's
23, 24. Yeah. It's up killing. Just got back from killing 14 million pounds of salmon.
Wow.
Graco did a YouTube channel on for me in that vessel. I'll show it to you.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like they actually did a pretty good job.
Nice. Brian, we have a common question that we always ask on Foam to Fortune. It's talking about, we always end the show with the conversation about regulation. what that looks like. And you know, I've never sprayed foam myself, but when somebody tells me we have these chemicals that are going down the road, and when we mix them together, like it's a mobile lab, you know, you guys are chemists essentially on site. There's a lot of different factors, humidity, heat, you know, temperature, everything that comes into play that changes the way that things react. From a total outsider, a guy that's never sprayed foam, I think, wow, this is pretty crazy. And I always joke, people that tune into the show, they've heard me talk about it's almost like Breaking Bad, if you've ever seen the show, right?
Yeah.
Where you're actually out mixing chemicals. So, you know, your HVAC, your plumbing, pretty tight regulated, you know, industry, but they don't have that form of regulation for spray foam, which, you know, last time I checked, plumbers are not mixing chemicals on your house. HVAC, yes, they're dealing with, you know, refrigerant, things like that. But outside of that, really no poison, nothing that can make me sick. So that always brings up the conversation of regulation. It's very unregulated right now. Crazy thing is, if I had a couple $100,000, I could go buy a rig and have a spray foam company tomorrow and be hurting people's health, screwing people's homes up that are their, you know, one of their largest investments. So, you know, that circles back around to the question of regulation. Do you think that the industry needs some form of regulation? And if you do, what does that look like to you?
That's a unique question.
Hey, spray foam contractor, imagine if there was a button on your phone that you could hit that said more jobs. You press it and boom, leads start coming in, calls start ringing, and now finally you're not wondering where's your next customer coming from. That's basically what Spray Foam Genius Marketing does. We optimize your Google business profile and your SEO and your website so that when people are ready to buy from you, you come up at the top of the Google search. More visibility, more calls equals more jobs. No weird contracts. And go ahead and check out sprayfoamgeniusmarketing.com so that we can get your genius button installed today. You're not just a contractor, you're a CEO of a spray foam business. But if you're not getting found online, you're still playing small. Spray Foam Genius Marketing takes your business from meh to magnetic. Want to grow like a CEO? Book your strategy call today at sprayfoamgeniusmarketing.com.
Regulations are good in a sense that Texas, for instance, building codes are so slack right down there. Mm-hmm. They're also putting tar paper over studs and putting siding on.
Yeah.
You know, is that good? Does it work? Yeah, it'll work fine. It'll work absolutely fine. Is it going to be a 100-year home? Probably not. Are we going to have some problems down the road with, you know, these loose regulations on building homes and there's fires? You know, is that going to make insurance rates grow up? So yeah, regulations can be good. You know, maybe we'll look in the future 10, 15 years from now and think, wow, we were living in the wild west of spray foam, you know.
Yeah.
I could just bought a rig and I'd show up to somebody's house and spray some pig guts, you know. I know it's real hard nowadays to spray bad foam. It can happen.
Yeah.
The technology and the new chemicals, they got the HFO. I mean, you got to be a pretty knucklehead to put some bad foam. Now, I've sprayed thick foam. I've sprayed in, you know, your max lift is 4 inches. You can get away with 5 here and there, but not a consistent 5, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, man, we live in Washington State, so more regulations is like, holy cow, I had an architect in my house, and it changed my whole plan, you know. So,
yeah,
you know, I lived in a flood zone, and I mean, am I pissed about it? And, you know, we live in this left state. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm mad about it, but it can be good. I think it could be good. You know, I know you're mixing chemicals. I know they have what do they have? They have, for my material supplier, they have a thing we got to go through every year. Just a little quick checklist, almost like, read the numbers as you're in the DNV. Okay, great. The guy can see you later. You know what I mean? It's basically like that, but it's some comprehensive. It's basically like red tape,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what would the regulations instill? Would it be random rig checks? You know what I mean? Does the foam police come around on jobs and each contractor twice a year? Is that a good thing? And you get a health score for the industry. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. It would help protect people. Say they catch two people a year putting bad foam in there. Now what is that? Did they just start? Did they hire some knucklehead? Did they have bad equipment?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a point when you start over-regulating.
Yeah.
But you're back in the day. I mean, you mix these two chemicals together, you get cyanide gas and rigs catching on fire. I mean, I think I've had foam catch on fire twice. Spraying in a bag, doing a thing is chars. We always get it before then it starts to smoke, exotherms out. But I mean, I don't see anybody putting 14 inches of foam in a house. So I mean, it could happen.
Maybe regulation isn't the best word.
Safeguard.
Maybe barrier of entry, right? Because the concern is a lot of people don't understand the science of foam and building science, or how to really kind of dial things in to get, proper foam. And regulation for me, kind of when I say that, sometimes people might think of somebody in Washington, D.C. that's wearing a suit that's going to come and tell Brian, like, this is how you do this. And you're like, have you ever sprayed foam before, Mr. Suit? And they're like, no, but you're going to abide by this law. I think that's not really, at least my form of regulation. My form of regulation, I feel like, either we can rely on, SPFA, their PPC program, like as a, kind of a certification, like, okay, Brian can spray basic foam and understand the basics of this. And then having maybe the foam manufacturer that is the one that's looking at, does Brian have a certificate or, whatever the check and balance is for me to sell him the foam. At least that would be protecting the consumer a little bit. But also on the flip side of things, it educates the homeowner a little bit to where they start to kind of look for like the seal of approval or like, a licensing or something as hey, are you, you always hear like people say, you got to ask your contractor, are you licensed, insured, and bonded?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't really fit for spray foam because
you have a license to install.
Correct. In some states they do. I know Arizona has like a licensing that you can't spray foam unless you have a particular license. There's some state regulation that's happening. I'm not sure. Colorado, different foam. That's some type of chemical that's in Colorado that is regulated or required by them. So that's kind of more what I'm looking for. Like, do you think that there needs to be kind of a barrier of entry, not regulation?
I'm going to say yes, because I actually care about the trade. And I believe that the spray foam industry has been stifled by big business. Mm-hmm. You have this superior product that's threatening fiberglass companies. So, there's been a smear campaign. I know for a fact from Owens Corning, they recently acquired or whatever, natural polymers, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Now they're all spray foam's great, I think it'd be a good idea to, have each company, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but have each company register with Washington State, some super comprehensive that each installer once a year have some kind of training to maybe more comprehensive, not just something, SPFA does a good deal, but you got to pay for it. They have different programs and rig development and slab jacking and stuff like that, but that's all based on your will. maybe we could be living in the wild, wild west. Maybe they're going to start doing that. But I think if these regulations will help the industry, help progress it, I'm for it. Even though I'm voting for regulations, that's not like me. Try to be somewhat of an outlaw, but
yeah, of course.
But if it helps the industry and it educates people, I think it could be a good thing.
I think it also would help separate a great company like yours versus Chuck in the truck.
But if it's mandated, you know what I mean? If it's mandated, then every company would have to do it.
True, but there's always going to be the Wild West.
Yes.
There's always going to be whoever is supposed to be checking that license or certification or whatever can always turn a blind eye.
And there's there's always ways around everything.
I mean, you've heard of the stories where it's like, you show up to a job site and there's, sets from all these different manufacturers, and you're like, how are you spraying like 6 different foams here? You know what I mean? It's like, is that sold off of the, in a black alley?
Some clients don't like when you switch over from Huntsman to BSF on their attic, or in their shop, and they see green and white,
Yeah.
It's a red flag when they've raked their driveway. I should have known better, but we made it right. Cost me profit, but hey,
he's speaking from
spray foam is the tip of the spear, and everybody's a satisfied customer.
Everybody.
So, well, yeah, everybody.
Or you make it right.
I've had 2 bad clients, and they'll still give me a thumbs up.
Wow.
There's always one in a bunch,
Of course, you can't. I mean, there's always going to be a Karen or a Chad.
I had to cut the floor out because there was a side on the ground. Okay, yeah, that's great.
We'll fix it.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, there should be. Well, it's going to take. Like the Becca bill in high school. Why they start making people fail classes for missing school? Well, because this gal skipped school and got herself killed. Right? Why do they have OSHA and safety, installed? People are missing their fingers. Oh, gee, we need to start putting, at a mining company, we have to put guards on every single belt, Maybe that we have to burn down a couple state buildings with foam to maybe get things going here,
Yeah. And honestly, I think this just starts by, guys like yourself, like that are, in the trades, that are tired of seeing, bad jobs happening, tired of being, because there is this bidding war that's happening as well, which I feel like because it is so easy. When I say easy, financially, not obviously easy, but financing your rig aside, it's the barrier of entry to start a spray foam company is fairly easy to do.
You should, general thumbs, have $100,000.
Yeah, exactly. So you had $100K just laying around, or good credit, you could get yourself up and going. And I know Canada. Yes, it's only like a couple day course. They do require.
It is. I don't know that it is something you have to do.
Yeah, it's a couple like a 2-3 day course that they make you do. They do also make you do some like continuing education type of credits to make sure you're kind of up and on the new stuff. And then the log, which is huge too. Which to me, I feel like every legitimate spray foam company should be keeping a log.
Absolutely, because I've done it. I haven't done it in a month or so, but it's even if you have so-and-so 4th Street installed 89 sets. Even if you just had somewhat of chicken scratch down there, it's going to help. Because the only bad jobs that I've really heard of lately is, God, I can't mention no names of foam, but I will say SWD. I believe that there's something in the makeup of that foam where I've had foam crack, shrink. Mm-hmm. Only time it's ever happened is using that stuff. So sorry SWD, sorry all the SWD lovers. There's been lawsuits.
But if they're
it's your product, not mine.
To go back
Yeti.
To go back to the log, if there is proper logs and there is a problem with, we're not going to call out anybody, but with any product, at least now you can pinpoint the manufacturer if there is a bad batch.
As a professional installer, you should be taking those notes.
Yeah.
Humidity, even I got a wood gauge. I've used it a couple times, and you really don't need to use it unless it's winter time and you maybe sense something because, you can see red flags, but I once in a while hit it. And I got my temperature gun on substrates, and then once you get down to 32 to 36 degrees, you better be a little smart when installing foam on metal.
Yeah.
But I think safeguards are good. Like I said, I'm all for whatever helps the industry to an extent. You start over regulating policing. But, like Canada, they have you do this entry. I mean, a guy goes into college, he comes out, where's he going to get his experience from? Being in the field.
Yeah.
He's laid a good foundation, and that's important. So if a guy was to say maybe yearly installers, something might not be a bad thing. But then you get Washington State involved, then they're like, oh, this is $45 per guy.
Come on, pay me.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side of things, a guy like yourself that's been spraying for years, that's training the next generation of sprayers, I think there is some commitment from, the spray foam contractors out there to make sure the next generation is actually doing correctly.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to the business owner, because my guys, one of them went to another company, and he told his main guys, just like, hey, the last company I worked for, this and that, and he was just like, yeah, you made sure everything was right every single time. It's like, well, that's what you do, So their company kind of pushed them. They're wearing cartridges, You'll never see me post on any social media platform, oh, I'm spraying foam with cartridges. I mean, that's terrible. You're not cool. You're not, good job. What the MSDS sheet says on those cartridges. It's like 40-something, 60%. So every 10 days you're breathing without, 4 days without a mask on.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Especially with all the health concerns and, the ISO sickness that happens.
Oh, it does. I smell perfumes and stuff a little more than I should.
Are you, have you had any sensitivity?
I worked with a material supplier. I was like, I need this. For a year and a half, I sprayed, just getting stoned to the bone. You know what I mean? I drink beer just to not feel. Because if you get sick, if you're all buzzed out from ISO, you need to drink some beer because it totally makes it go away.
Is that why there's so many beer drinkers in the spray foam world?
I don't know about that. Maybe in the, what do they say? Bricklayers and iron workers, Drywall's a gateway drug. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, okay.
Theo Vaughn says that. Yeah.
Well, I think that is a perfect place to wrap this up, Brian. If there's anybody out there that wants to connect, shoot the shit, maybe just connect, because I know the community is very, very tight. How do they, call me, baby. How do they get in touch with you, man?
Washington Spray Foam LLC, Facebook. Yeah.
Shoot him a Facebook message, you guys, and connect with Brian. Obviously, very knowledgeable. If you guys are looking to get into spraying marine type stuff, I mean, obviously,
go kick the rocks, figure it out yourself.
Not in Seattle, but anywhere else in outside of Washington State.
Bunny in the pot, slash tires. No.
Yeah, you can hit up Brian and he'll share his knowledge of the marine stuff. But
no, I'm here to help. I got a guy helping look for a rig. Lives right next door to me.
Oh, nice.
Good. Put another one in the industry. It's good.
Yeah,
I ain't scared.
Healthy competition, right?
Yep. And I just recently got another job from him. So it's, he's scratching people's backs. Everything's good. There's enough to go around.
Yeah, he's out there marketing in general for the spray foam world.
Yeah.
And the more that spray foam becomes a common household thing, I think the more work there's going to be.
I have to say one thing. Wear a mask. If you're watching this and you're a spray foamer and you're using cartridges, you're comfortable. You're started working. You don't like the hose. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Wear a mask, you guys. Brian said it.
Fresh air.
Yeah, fresh air mask. You guys actually use fresh air?
Every time. Well, unless, you're spraying on a roof.
Yeah. You're outside.
Then,
maybe.
For freestyle it with the cartridges,
Yeah.
But if you're spraying for a living on top of roofs, that's questionable.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I appreciate you coming, sitting in studio, Foam to Fortune podcast, episode number 20. It has been absolutely amazing. So much better than a Zoom style podcast. So if you guys are looking to be a guest, we'd love to have you in studio here in Washington State, just outside of Portland. So thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity. It's been great.
Of course.